Welcome to the live stream. Today I want to talk about how Taylor Marshall is not the problem in the church, and many of you probably believe that. Believe that he's not the problem in the church, which is pretty obvious. It should be pretty obvious. But a lot of people have said that Taylor Marshall is the reason why the Latin mass crackdowns have occurred, which is false. That's certainly not the case at all. Now, recently, I like the direction he's been going. He did he did a few videos. I didn't watch his Pope Francis video. How he said Pope Francis preached heresy, and what is that like? What do you do? And for me, I've always taken the SSPX. Oh, always, not always, but I I think the SSPX stance is pretty good on the Pope. Is that the church needs a visible head, and if Pope Francis is a heretic, a future council will state that, and then we can deal with that later. But the current hierarchy, they are the visible hierarchy. The church needs a visible hierarchy, and so I agree with that. I agree with the SSPX stance on the Pope. Now, some people will, they'll say, well, the Pope's a heretic, and therefore we can't be with the modern church. And I don't know. I don't know. That's up for you. Like I said, SSPX. The one video I wanted to really talk to you about, though, was I actually listened to it. I don't really watch YouTube videos, I listen to them. I listened to his video on Cardinal Hollerich, how he said Cardinal Hollerich was a heretic. And remember, Cardinal Hollerich is this guy who he promoted a series of heresies. He promoted the Rainbow Agenda. He he said that women should be ordained priests, or that they could be. That doctrine can change on that issue, and we need to change the catechism in regards to LMNOP. And good for Taylor Marshall in calling him out, calling him a heretic. Now, this channel here, on this channel, I've said from I don't know how long ago, any bishop, any priest, any layperson, um, any of those people, if they believe that women's ordination, if they support women's ordination, then they're a heretic. And I've been pretty consistent with that, so I was glad Taylor Marshall finally brought this up. Now, I guess people are saying that Taylor Marshall is the problem, and he's not the problem in the church. Obviously not. You know what's the problem is a modernist bishop. There's a problem whenever there's a bishop who promotes the rainbow agenda and they say, oh, you're schismatic. Well, I'm schismatic from the counter church. Absolutely. I mean, I'm outside of a church that supports LMNOP relationships because that's not Catholic. I'm not. I am opposed to a church that supports women priests because that's not Catholic. It's the counter church. And what do we do? I don't know. Now, Taylor Marshall attended the SSPX. He announced he attended the SSPX on Easter of 2020. And Michael Voris from Church Militant attacked him. He said, you can't attend the SSPX. And here's the problem. The churches were locked down. I mean, it's pretty funny, isn't it? The churches were locked down and Taylor Marshall attended the one he could. You know, even the modern church will say, "Oh, you can attend you can attend an Eastern Orthodox liturgy in time of necessity." Oh, really? Then why can't you attend the SSPX? Even some FSSP priests have said not to attend the SSPX. Who's going to say the mass whenever your sacraments are banned? Who's going to administer the sacraments? Now, I want to talk a little bit about this. Bishops. How are bishops accountable? Okay, well, on my video with Breath of Fog recently, what were we talking about? Synodality. The Synod on Synodality. We had a dialogue. We talked about how, where was I going with this? The bishops. Um, is there, I talked about the Bible verse where St. Paul was speaking strongly against LMNOP, and he said anyone that tolerates it is guilty of the sin. They're worthy of the same punishment as the people that commit the sin. And so, how many of these bishops tolerate their fellow bishops supporting LMNOP? I don't think you need to research all the background of all these bishops and say, haha, I see you have an LMNOP church in your diocese, and I found that out because I looked at every church's bulletin. No, but someone like Bishop Stowe, Bishop McElroy, Archbishop Wester, Cardinal Cupich, Cardinal Tobin, those ones blatantly, openly supported LMNOP. Cardinal Dolan allows Father James Martin to have his home base in the Archdiocese of New York. Don't you think some of these bishops could speak up against it? I know Strickland did at one point. He said that in, I think it was 2018. What about now? What bishops are speaking out against their fellow bishops? Because this isn't a time to be silent. I always say we are the laity, and we will not be silent. And this isn't the time for bishops to just mind their own business. This isn't the time for lay people to have obedience, to have blind obedience to these modernist bishops. Would you be okay with having obedience to an LMNOP bishop? He's a bishop of the counter church. You're not bound by any obedience with any of this stuff. So Taylor Marshall is not the reason why Pope Francis cracked down on the Latin Mass. That's ridiculous. I don't know why anyone even thinks that. Is Pope Francis, is he that, what do I want to say? Is he that petty? Is he that concerned about what one person's saying on the internet? That he cracks down on the Latin Mass? No, this was a diabolical attack. The devil hates Latin. And, even Vatican II, in the Vatican II document, Sacrosanctum Concilium, it said Latin should be retained in the liturgy. How many Novus Ordos have any word of Latin in them? 2%? What will the FSSP do in a few weeks? Whenever they're cracked down, who's going to stand up and fight? Taylor Marshall will. That's what he's indicated. I like the direction he's going. Will the FSSP do that? I don't know. But meanwhile, telling them telling their people not to attend the SSPX, I don't know. I really don't know. I want to talk a little bit, moving on to bishops, I want to talk a little bit about the Satan Conference in Phoenix. So that's this weekend. Bishop Olmsted told his parishioners, I believe his priests, not to attend their prayer rally outside of the hotel. He didn't want any attention drawn to that event. And also, some people might not be spiritually prepared. I get it. I understand where he's coming from. Thing is, Bishop Olmsted going to go there right after it's over and perform an exorcism on that property? Because the Satan Conference, their goal is to dedicate, whatever they call it, dedicate the city to Satan. And you can imagine what will happen if nothing's done about that by Bishop Olmsted. You know what's going to happen? Here's what I expect. I expect a modernist bishop to be appointed there to Phoenix. Bishop Olmsted's at his retirement age. He's already at the mandatory retirement age. So once they find a replacement, then he'll be gone. And there could be a modernist bishop appointed there. So Bishop Olmsted, for the sake of the future of Phoenix diocese, go and perform an exorcism. The bishop is the primary exorcist of the diocese. So go and do it. Go and do the exorcism as soon as those Satanists leave. And I think Bishop Olmsted's a good bishop. It seems like he's friendly towards the Latin Mass in that community in the Diocese of Phoenix. Seems to be one of the better bishops in the United States. His auxiliary bishop Navarez is friendly towards the FSSP. It'd be a very easy transition for the auxiliary bishop to be named bishop. But like I said, Satan Conference, they had I didn't look too much into it, but I think one of their sessions was talking about the virtue of abortion, or whatever they say. Abortion is certainly a goal of the Satanists. What a surprise, right? Well, if you get a bishop like McElroy in there, he'll fit right in. So he'd be right in line with the ideals of the Satan Conference ideals. Do you want obedience? Should we have blind obedience to a bishop who tells us to fly a rainbow flag? Should we have blind obedience to a bishop who tells us that women can be priests? What do you think about that? Certainly not. Living Purgatory says, what do you do when the SSPX gets excommunicated? Been there, done that. Not me, but the SSPX. They've been through it before. Tim Gordon, yes, Church Militant was blasting Taylor Marshall. I don't know, didn't watch it. But Michael Voris has done that before, and I think it's very clear that unless you're 100% with Michael Voris, you're against him. He's alienating all the trads. Timothy thought it was funny that they were going after restoring the faith media. Yeah. The excommunication would be invalid. Yes. Not everything they say is true. So, and to be clear, I don't know everything the SSPX stands for, so I can't say I stand with them 100%. But I know that they're going to preserve the old Mass and the old sacraments until we get a pope who is less hostile towards the Catholic faith. Gordon made a statement how it was funny. Church Militant was suing Restoring the Faith. Okay. Yeah, we're all excommunicated for following tradition. I get it. Yeah, that's great. Ad Orientem. No LMNOP bishops. What book are you referring to? Learn Latin. Yeah, exactly. The Latin Mass. See, and it's interesting. I talk about this counter church. And I don't really know exactly how this works. But I know that there is a movement for a counter church. The German synodal path certainly encompasses that. And it looks like the German synodal path, they were getting really sick of how slowly things were moving. And so they started going ahead, and Pope Francis told them, no, wait, well, now the time has come. And the German Synod is moving full speed ahead. And the rest of this global synod, it certainly seems as though they're headed on the same path as the German Synod. And I don't really know. What do you do? To those of us who are following closely, it's very obvious that Pope Francis doesn't support the Catholic faith. A lot of these cardinals have deviated from the Catholic faith. And a lot of the bishops, the problem is, and here's what, I don't know if I saw this, I don't know where I saw this. The seminaries prepare men to be followers, not leaders. This is what I saw somewhere, I think, online. The seminaries prepare men to be followers, not leaders, and so when they get to the bishop's position, they're not in any position to be a leader. They don't really know how to lead because they've never seen leadership. It's really just been deferring to what the Pope says. And when one Pope conflicts the other Pope, we have two living Popes right now, and when one Pope contradicts the other Pope, then what do? Is it just the latest ideas of the day, or I don't want to say the latest fashion, but that's kind of what it is, the latest popular thought. because right now that's really what we're hearing from the Vatican. And see, if you're stressed out by what's going on in the Vatican, and that's another point. You don't have to listen. You don't have to follow what Pope Francis is saying. People get annoyed with Taylor Marshall's videos because he talks about the latest crazy thing that Pope Francis said, and a lot of them I'll mention on EVTN News, but just really in passing. This past EVTN, I did compile a list of like 4 or 5 crazy things Pope Francis said. I don't usually do that because it's at this point, does a lot of this stuff really surprise you that Pope Francis says? Not really. But if it stresses you out, don't follow it. If Taylor Marshall's videos are annoying, then don't watch them. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. But don't say he's wrong. Don't say he's wrong for using the H word. And for me, it's tough. You know, modernism is a heresy. So anyone who follows modernism is a heretic, right? And I know that there are people, obviously there are people on here on YouTube that are far more knowledgeable in the Catholic faith than I am, including Timothy Flanders. He said that there are 3 groups of people in the church, like broadly speaking. There's the traditionalists, the conservatives, and the liberals. And the liberals are heretics. The conservatives are like your Novus Ordo crowd who actually accept the doctrines of the faith. There's a lot of liberals mixed, less and less liberals that are mixed in there now. They're being consistently weeded out because most of them left after the virus and never came back because they realized that that the church, I mean, they disagreed with the church, and there's no reason to attend a church you disagree with. Isn't that true? Right? Why would you do that? Why would you attend a church that you disagree with? Why would a cardinal want to participate in a church that they disagree with? Money. I guess that's why. Money and power. You can live your double life and say a few things that are vaguely Catholic, and you can make a substantial salary off of it. The Vatican will help you. Really? I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But there's a lot of the Vatican's a big money, a big money place. They make a lot of money. So, and they also spend a lot of money. And it seems like in the past they have had significant deficits. I don't know. But I mean, we have we have heresy all over the place. I mean, call it for what it is, right? It's unbelievable. I mean, just think about it. Before the Amazon Synod, what did we have? We had McCarrick. And you look at the things McCarrick was saying, they weren't Catholic. He said, here's an important point. McCarrick said, give Pope Francis 5 years and he will change the church. Pope Francis has been in for what, 9 years? It's been horrific. Has he changed the church? I think he has. Because a lot of these priests and a lot of these bishops will do whatever he says. And they look at the eco-theology. No one cares about the eco-theology. No one wants to say, no one believes that planting a tree makes you Catholic. No one believes that recycling your plastic bottles or your glass bottles makes you Catholic. No one believes that. And if they do, then to them the Catholic faith is just some kind of all-world religion. All religions are equal. Abu Dhabi Declaration. Now, recycling is a good thing. Planting a tree is a good thing. It helps the environment. It helps it helps give more oxygen and intake the carbon in the atmosphere, which is nice. I mean, it's always nice to have more oxygen, right? And I love hiking. I really enjoy being in the woods. That doesn't make me Catholic. No one believes that stuff. But yet all these bishops are promoting it. Immigration. It's all about money. But yet you hear in the prayers of the faithful. I don't go to the Novus Ordo, but you hear in the prayers of the faithful. We How many times do you hear about immigrants? How many times do you hear about abortion? What's more of an urgent priority? We're in a crisis right now. We're in a crisis of faith. You need to discern what's best for you. Have your game plan ready for when this crackdown does occur, if it does. What priests are going to stand against the unjust declarations against the Latin Mass? Will the FSSP exist in a month? It's hard to say. I think right now, though, I was just thinking about this today. The FSSP seminary, the Institute of Christ the King seminary, they'd be a good place to be. Even if, I mean, if you want to be a priest, then you're probably best off going to the SSPX seminary because you know that they're not going to be shut down by the Vatican. But even in the FSSP or the Institute seminaries, you're going to be learning the Catholic faith. You're going to be learning St. Thomas Aquinas. So I don't know that they would be super concerned. The old rite ordination, though, which bishops are going to do old rite ordinations, especially after this crackdown comes in less than a month, less than a month away? Is this going to impact diocesan Latin masses? I hope not. Many of them have already been impacted, though. Many of them have already been affected. Many of them have already been shut down. I don't know. I just wanted to get on and say I'm liking the new direction Taylor Marshall's going. Some people say, oh, he's going to be sedevacantist. He's a schismatic. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's going to, worst case, if his FSSP parish gets shut down, he'll go SSPX, as will most of the people there. That's kind of what it comes down to. We're done with Reverend Novus Ordos. That's not going to happen. The bishops don't want reverence. They don't want your Reverend Novus Ordo. Many of them have already said priests need to face the people, right? It's a new rite. Paul VI created a new rite out of thin air. Is that permitted in terms of, I don't know, canon law, Catholic doctrine? I don't know. I don't know. And the Eastern rites, is there going to be problems with them? I've heard rumors. I haven't seen anything myself. I've heard rumors that. See, the thing is, the Eastern rites, they have built-in reverence in their liturgies. Novus Ordo has a lot of flexibility for freestyling. That's a big thing. And the Eastern rites, who knows? Who knows? You get some modernists say you can do whatever you want, then it doesn't work. All right, everyone. Taylor Marshall is not schismatic. Thank you so much for watching. We are the laity, and we will not be silent.